You finance everything that you buy. After watching this video, you'll know exactly why I say that you finance everything that you buy. Hi, my name is Rip, and hopefully you're getting some value from my videos. If so, before getting into the video, make sure that you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post new videos. One of the most important and probably one of the hardest principles to understand regarding infinite banking is that you finance everything that you buy. But to pay interest to someone else, where you give up interest that you could have earned otherwise. I, like most people, understood the first part, that you pay interest to someone else to borrow their money. Everybody knows that whenever you borrow money from somewhere, a bank or a credit union or a finance company or a credit card, they make the interest to let you access the pool of money through them. So I'm pretty sure that everyone gets that first part of the principle. The second part of the principle, that you give up interest that you could have earned otherwise, most people, myself included, is the hardest part of the principle to really understand what it means. We've all been programmed to think that we are beating the system. We're doing so much better by not borrowing money and by paying cash. But are we really? Get back when Moby Dick was a minnow. I remember one year for my birthday, my father gave me a birthday card with half a bike drawn on it. I had a newspaper route back then, and I really, really wanted a 10-speed bike. You know, the ones you used to have the drop-down handlebars, so you could use the lowered handlebars if you wanted to tuck down and go really fast, or you could use the top ones to sit up all cool looking around while you just poke along. I had a really nice one-speed bike with a banana seat that I had for a really long time. But sometimes I had to get off that bike and push it up the bigger hills on my route, especially on Sundays with those huge Sunday papers that had all the ads and the cartoons in them. I was so excited by this birthday card. Even though my dad made sure that I knew it was only half of a bike, it didn't matter. I wanted him to take me to the bike store right away. I'll never forget how excited I was, pulling up in front of the bike store. It was Nult's in Manchester. I don't think Dad had the car parked before I was on the sidewalk in front of the store waiting for it. The salesman was really cool. As soon as he found out that we were shopping for a bike for me, he told me that we were going to have to figure out what size the bike would be best for me. After that, I sit by Corey. I started at the very end of each of the long rows of bike and methodically worked my way to each and every one of them. I finally zeroed in on a bright yellow Schwinn. Through the course of picking the bike out, the salesman came to understand that I was getting it for my newspaper route. And I already had a configuration of baskets in mind. I'll never forget standing at that counter in full anticipation of being able to take that bike home that day. As the salesman wrote up the sales slip, I couldn't help but think about how my birthday card with only half a bike on it was going to play out. I don't also remember how much the bike came to. I do remember my dad taking it in instant. He wrote down the amount of the bike down on the piece of paper. My heart sank and I watched him do the math in front of me. Buying the total bike too. He circled that number and looked up at me. This is your hat. And say, was a long ride home. It was a teaching moment from my dad to me. Probably cleverly created from when you decided to put half of a bike on that card. The point that he was trying to make was that if you don't have the money to buy something, don't buy it. But it could have borrowed the money from you and then paid you back, I pleaded. And it would be in debt to me and have to pay me interest for using my money. But I would have been okay with that because I wanted that bike so bad. But he wasn't. Dad wanted me to learn his lesson. Looking back now, knowing what I know now, that teaching moment is when I would have loved to have been taught about infinite banking or family banking, some people call it. Dad was teaching me a lesson that I'm sure he was taught by his dad. He made me save my money until I had my half, and then we went back together and paid cash for that bike. My dad was a pay cash guy. Paying cash is just a bit better than going into debt to someone else, but it is not anywhere near as good as controlling the banking function yourself. The I Pay Cash group is right on the doorstep of being able to control their banking function. So, a teaching moment to my dad, 50 years later, 50 years late, is about acknowledging the principle that paying cash is still financing something, because you give up interest that you could have earned otherwise. The interest that you could have earned otherwise, but missed out on because you chose to pay cash, is called lost opportunity cost. Everyone knows what interest is. Very few people have even heard of a lost opportunity cost. I saved up my $100 to pay cash for my half of my bike, but then paying cash cost me $231 over the next 10-year period. Let me explain. If I was able to keep my $100 in my savings account back then for the next 10 years, I would have had $100 accumulated interest for 10 years at 12%, which is about the interest rate back then. My $100 would have grown into $331. $331 is what I would have had 10 years later if I did not use my $100 to pay cash for the bike. $331 less my original $100 equals $231 of money that I could have earned with my $100 that I spent on my bike. The $231 that I lost or that I could have made is called lost opportunity cost. Yes, there's actually a financial term for this. I had never heard of this before. And as soon as I learned about it and was able to study it, it brought a completely new and different perspective to me about paying cash. This is a really important lesson to understand because you finance everything that you buy. You either pay interest to someone else or you give up interest that you could have earned otherwise. There are no exceptions. I hope this helps. Thanks for stopping by.